Gemini, and welcome to your monthly horoscope for the month of May. Real quickly, before I jump into this, I just want to take an opportunity to remind you that I offer readings on my website, astrologygrace.com. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I've added some new readings. I'm now doing synastry readings, also known as like couple readings or love readings. You can use them for any relationship that you have with somebody else. It doesn't have to be a romantic one. And I'm offering monthly forecast readings, so your specific, birth chart is used to look at, what the month ahead looks like for you. I have mini versions of all of the readings I offer on my website as well. If you were looking for, less expensive, more to the point in a quicker fashion kind of reading, it just wouldn't obviously be like nearly as in-depth. So yeah, check that out if you're interested. Links are down below. Okay, Gemini, so the month of May for you is going to be a very happy, prosperous month. Your health is going to be doing good. It's going to be doing better than it has been if you've been having any health issues. You're going to have a lot more energy than you have been having in the past few months. If you have been keeping your eye out for like a job or a way to move ahead, with your goals in school, anything that you've been trying to achieve, this is also going to be a good month with more opportunities than you've been having. One thing I'll point out is that if you do get an opportunity for like a job or something like along those lines, make sure you do your research because not everything will be as it seems this month. So just make sure that you're not like, quickly accepting things without at least looking into them, pretty in depth before you say yes or agree to something. This month is pretty big where Uranus is moving into the sign of Taurus, so it's going from Aries to Taurus around the 15th, 16th of the month. So Uranus will be moving into your 4th house, from your 3rd, and this may signal some spiritual changes for you. Changes may happen a lot in your family life or in your home life, you may notice. Let's look at a breakdown of, some of the inner planets. You have your sun in Taurus for the first chunk of the month, and then it moves into your sign, Gemini, so happy birthday out there, any May Geminis. And it's going to be in your 12th house to start, so it's a good time to take a break from, your life that's maybe been busy the past few months. And it's also a good time to focus on your inner self, your needs and your desires and what you want and what makes you happy. You might actually feel like a bit psychic, like, knowing what's going to happen before it does. Just getting like little feelings of something that might occur and then it actually does and you're like, whoa, that's weird. You could also, during this time, because of the placement in the 12th house, be a little bit vulnerable to others trying to take advantage of you. So just be careful and, consider people's intentions when dealing with you. Also, just keep an eye on your health. Like I said, it'll be improving for you this month, but you might, have the potential to catch like a cold or the flu or something like that. So just use your energy in a healthy manner and you'll probably be able to stay away from those things. The sun's going to move into your 1st house on the 21st, so this is going to be a time for new adventures, especially personal ones. Your own needs and desires are going to continue to be important, and you're going to have a lot more confidence than you typically do or than you have been having, the past few months. And just don't get carried away. You don't want to let it go to your head. It's great to be confident and that's wonderful, but you just don't want to get carried away with that. And it's also good for you to consider other people's feelings when dealing with them in any way. Mercury for you is going to travel through your 11th house to your 12th and then to your 1st at the end of the month. And for you, you're going to find that teamwork and communicating with groups of people is the best way for you to get success during the beginning of the month. Social media might be helpful for you success-wise or goal-wise, career-wise, anything along those lines. It's a good time to spend time in social settings, be around other people, maybe join a group or some kind of an organization. And it's also a great time to kind of update your goals and take a look at them and see if you are on track to where you want to be. Are there goals that you really aren't pursuing anymore? Are there other goals that have maybe stepped up into the spotlight that you should be spending a little more time on? During this second half of the month, you're gonna have Mercury moving into your 12th house, and you might have people opening up to you and sharing things that are personal to them. My recommendation is not to share things that are secrets of your own because they could get exposed during this time. Could potentially be betrayed by somebody that you trust, so just be wary. I mean, I'm not saying not to trust people that you love, but just be aware of who you're sharing, you know, personal things about yourself with. It's a really great time for some alone time and to just take a break from the social scene for a little bit, have a little relaxation, a little rest. And as you get towards the very end of the month, carrying into June, you're going to want to, like I said, express your opinions and, you know, be able to share your inner self with others. Just make sure that you're listening to those around you as well and considering others, you know, important opinions as much as you want yours to be considered. And also just be careful not to make any rash decisions because you're going to be feeling very restless towards the end of the month. For you, this month, Venus is going to be traveling through your first and then your second house. So, you know, during the first half of the month, you're going to be feeling social. It's going to be a time for fun. You're going to have like a power of attraction, so things that you want to manifest in your life can happen for you. You're just going to be more popular, and you might see that your wishes come true more often than not, which is obviously very interesting. You might have a new love interest, or you might meet new people that become important to you. You know, you want to treat your body kindly. That's very important during this time. And be careful of what you're putting into it. Around the 19th, Venus is going to travel into your second house, which means, you know, you might find yourself having more money around you, possessions might become more important, values become more important. You might be getting gifts, which of course this could be a lot of your birthdays, but you might see that gifts are starting to fall into your lap. With extra money coming your way, you're going to be inclined to want to spend it, but just my recommendation with this placement is to save it because that will benefit you, you know, in the next couple weeks or months. As far as your love life is concerned, you know, during the first half of the month, you might, like I said, meet a new love interest, and if you are looking for love, it's a really good time to kind of like buckle down and think of what it is that you want and put yourself out there and give yourself the opportunity for love. If you're in a relationship, you might find that you need a little more me time than you normally do at the first half of the month and taking some time, you know, for yourself. You know, after the 19th, you might meet somebody, you know, that you share values with. After the 19th, if you're in a relationship, you might start to talk about, you know, your values and anything having to do with finances with your partner. Like maybe start talking about sharing a rent together, moving in. If you're single, you might be taking things a little more slowly than you usually do, and just being, you know, more aware of what you want, and making decisions for yourself, you know, on a slower, not as impulsive way that you might typically do. You might really start to consider things more, and move at a much slower pace, which is good if you're like looking for a relationship. If you're in a relationship, you might also start to move at a little bit of a slower pace, especially if it's like a newer relationship. Maybe you're just taking things, you know, maybe you're just moving along in your relationship a little bit more cautiously. Mars for you is going to be in your 8th house and then move into your 9th house around the middle of the month. So it's important not to make like random impulsive purchases like we talked about a little earlier. Even if things seem like a good deal, they might, you know, typically not be during this time. It's good to try to increase your earnings now. Just like a good time, and it could actually happen for you. And it could just be easier for you to do so during this time. You know, maybe like ask for a raise, start something, a little side business, or get a part-time job, something along those lines. You might have a small but significant amount of money that you weren't expecting end up in your hands, which is always a good thing. As it moves into your 9th house, it's going to be a good time to learn, you know, to open your mind, and you're going to feel quicker than you usually do. Like you're going to feel very quick. I mean, you're a Gemini, so you have that already on your side, but you're just going to feel like your mind is like very sharp during this time. And you might have some legal issues. If you have in-laws, you're married, it's a good, you might have some struggles with your in-laws, but it's good to be patient and understanding during this time. You might notice during this month, you're going to have a little bit more luck as Venus moves into your 2nd house, and when the sun enters your sign on the 21st, you're just going to be feeling, you know, a lot better about yourself, like I said, more confidence, but you're just going to look and feel great. You might notice through the first half of the month with the sun being opposite of Jupiter that you're gonna have a tendency to kind of go a little bit overboard, like maybe, you know, overdo things, over drink, overeat, overspend, over exercise, anything along those lines. So just be cautious of this. You're gonna feel more optimistic, and you might get into something without, you know, being as cautious or practical as maybe you should be, so just be aware of that. And you're also going to feel like you need to get down to the bottom of something that's been kind of bothering you during the 3rd to the 19th when the sun is trining Pluto, and you might uncover, you know, some valuable information that might help you achieve any goals that you have for yourself. Mercury is going to square Pluto the first half of the month, so you might be feeling a little bit more down, a little darker and more secretive, and you're not like sharing things, which is actually good for you because we talked earlier how you really shouldn't be sharing any secrets. And you might feel a little more sensitive and suspicious of others than you typically do. So just keep that in mind. It will pass, you know, after around the 11th. So if you're feeling kind of down and in a weird kind of place, it will pass. Overall, May looks like a really good month for you. I hope you enjoy it, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you in my next video, and have a good day or night.